What's going on, everybody? Devil's Advocate here. Sorry that it's been a little while since I made another video. I'm kind of spacing things out a little bit. But I want to make a quick video about how individual acceptance can ultimately lead to unit failure. I'm not sure if there might be some kind of official terminology for this or something like that, but this is my spin on it. And the easiest way for me to break this down is think about when you were in school, like grade school. Usually you see it starting a lot in junior high and into high school. How it becomes so important to be and remain accepted within a group that you can know that something's wrong, you can feel that something's wrong, but you won't say anything. You will keep your mouth quiet just so that you don't end up outcast or ostracized from the group that you affiliate yourself with. And to me, there was no better example than that when, after the inauguration was over, the White House actually has an official YouTube page. And I think it's fairly new because there's only a handful of videos on there. But if you go to the White House page, there's a video of the presidential inauguration. I haven't checked it recently, but the last time I checked it, which I think was about 3 or 4 days ago, there were just shy of 10,000 thumbs up and over 50,000, almost 60,000 thumbs down. Now, this is a bipartisan webpage, YouTube channel. I think that's fair to say, right? It's the White House channel. So it doesn't lean in any one direction. It's just a YouTube channel for the White House. So I'm sitting there looking, I was like, wow. A neutral channel is airing or covering the presidential inauguration, and it has less than 10,000 likes and over 50,000 dislikes. And this is supposed to be in the coverage of the inauguration of who's supposed to be the most popular president in presidential history with 81 million plus votes. And I was like, so how does this happen? How does this happen? How does stuff like this happen? Well, there's a general consensus that the average American person, your average American citizen, knows that something is not on the up and up. But yet, we're marching in this direction anyways. Fast as hell, might I add. I told you guys that I said once this dude gets into office, things are going to start happening. But I didn't know, like, they're happening at blitz speed. Like, it's blazing fast. Like, day one. Man, we're not even a full 30 days in. And things are happening. Things are happening. They're not wasting any time. But whatever. I expected it. I didn't know it was going to happen so fast. But I knew it was going to happen nonetheless. Now all these blue states are opening up, all their cases are going up. Infection rates are going up. But now the lockdowns need to end right after the inauguration is over. And you're going to try to tell me this is not a political virus? Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The main point of this is the point I was trying to make about how individual acceptance can lead to unit failure. because fortunately or unfortunately, I can't really determine that. But in society, and also in the animal kingdom, to be honest with you, but for this conversation, in human society, there are only a small percentage of people, a small handful of individuals who have really strong personalities, strong high levels of disagreeableness, meaning not that necessarily that they will disagree with you all the time. It just means that once they have their opinion and their mindset on something, you're not going to do anything to change their opinion on it. And furthermore, they will do everything in their power to make sure that things will go their way, in the way they see it. And those are the people who are usually the ones that are in positions to change the landscape of society. And most people have opinions. Most people have thoughts and feelings. But most people, by nature, are more agreeable than not. So they will agree to disagree and go along with whatever's happening just to avoid confrontation. And that's how we get to where we are. We allowed it to happen. We saw it happening right before our eyes. We complained about it on a small degree. A lot of business owners did. Small business owners did. But a lot of people would like complain amongst themselves and behind closed doors, but not really complain, not really get out there, not really make it a point to make their voice heard on what their true feelings were. They let the small radical group of people with their very strong opinions and their very strong visions and their desires to control the narrative. So I thought it was unfortunate. There was this thing that popped up. Pardon me. It's always work. Always work. Give me a second here. There was this chat forum, right? And I think it was kind of like, it was like a wife's page, but for unionized workers, and it has something to do with the Keystone Pipeline. Like, it's kind of like how the military has like a military spouse page, something similar, right? And there was this spouse on there, this wife, that was having an open discussion about how her husband was a Trump supporter and how she was voting for Biden because she did not like Trump's attitude. And how her husband was arguing with her, saying that you voting for Joe Biden is literally at odds with our livelihood. Because if he gets into office, he's going to take our jobs away. I work in the oil industry. And he doesn't support that. So you voting for Biden because you don't like Donald Trump's attitude is literally saying that you're willing to sacrifice our livelihood and our way of living because you don't like somebody else's personality. You're literally shooting us in the foot. So it was like, I'm paraphrasing all of this, of course, because I don't remember the entire conversation. But she went on the open forum and she was asking, is there any validity to what her husband was saying? You know, and there was some back and forth about it. And then she came back a couple of weeks later after the inauguration. A few days later, back after the inauguration. And she was talking about how her husband lost her job right after Joe Biden took office. And what does she do now? And of course, people in the chat forum say she gets what she deserves. Da, da, da. They felt sorry for her husband, but hopefully he divorces you. That all kinds of crazy stuff, right? But whatever. But that just goes to show how poorly informed our general public is. We have a low information populace in America. Low information. Just a bunch of low information fools walking around everywhere. So you got a handful, you got a portion that are low information voters. And then you have a portion that know what's going on, but don't feel comfortable or confident enough to speak up or say anything about it because they don't want to put themselves in an awkward position, either through friends, family, workspace, or whatever the case may be. So, it's kind of like you have to be willing to just do what needs to be done, because like it's almost like how do I want to word this? It's almost like your death is coming, but you're like jumping through all these hoops and hurdles to prolong your death, and you're not really ready to really confront the issue head on. So you just kind of talk around it and talk about it, but don't ever tackle the issue head on or address it. That might be a bad example, but that's kind of what goes through my head. But I like to a little bring it back to my high school, for example. So like in high school, I was always an outsider. I always kind of stuck to myself, kind of hung out with myself. I'm going to say like intentionally ostracized myself or excluded myself. But I was always a free thinker. I was always an individual thinker. And that allowed me to just observe the things that were going on around me. And how I would see people that will act a certain way, dress a certain way, talk a certain way, only for nothing more than to be included. All about inclusion. So, gang membership is the same way. Being a part of a gang, right? It's just all about inclusion. So that individual desire to be accepted can ultimately lead to an entire organizational failure, because the mass is following along with the ideals and principles of a very small few. And if the principles and the ideals of that small few are driving that organization, that culture, that group of people in the wrong direction, then the entire organization or the entire society will crumble. It will fall. Because unfortunately, a majority of the population either are unwilling or incapable of thinking completely autonomously and for themselves. But that's how we are where we are. And that's why I said from the very beginning that the only way that this tide is going to shift in another direction, there's going to have to be a threat of survival or a threat of life to wake people up. Now, I don't mean wake people up to the point, because some people like really are just seeing things in a completely nonsensical manner. But I don't think that's most people. But I mean wake people up to the point where they say, okay, that's it. We can't just sit here and take this shit anymore. We got to do something. We can't just sit here and just keep allowing this small circle of people to walk us and march us in this direction. We know it's a bad direction, but we just keep going here anyways, hoping that miraculously that they're going to see the light and they're going to turn the ship around. They're not going to. They have a particular vision of how this world needs to be, and this is the direction that they're going. I already told you, mass vaccination. They're gonna want everybody vaccinated. Everybody thought I was crazy when I said that we're going to the direction of they are going to mandate vaccination. And if they can't legally do it, they're going to make it so that it's going to be damn near impossible to live a somewhat normal life until you get it. They're going to pressure you into getting it. So yeah, they're not going to legally make you to get it. They're not going to legally make you get it, but they're going to make your life so difficult for not having it that you're going to get it. And now look at where we are. We're going the exact fucking direction where I said we're going to go. And it's like, and people just swallow it. They just keep eating the shit that they're fed. And they know it's wrong. They complain about it all the time. They complain about it every day. But they let the small few who have the power and the money to make all these insane decisions to continue on their path. The next step, man, we're gonna get to where I said we're gonna get a whole lot faster than I thought we were. Anybody hear about Amazon trying to delay the vote to unionize? I'm telling you, they're going to try to turn all these big corporations into unions. Damn. Anyways, they're going to try to turn all these big corporations into unions. It's going to be very interesting to see how all this shakes out. So, COVID-19 is not going anywhere, right? Now they got variations floating around. Now they're pushing mass vaccination. They're asking us if we want to voluntarily get the vaccine. And now I was telling people at work, I was like, yeah, they're asking you because they're testing the waters to see how many people are willing to take it and how many people don't want it. But ultimately, they're going to make us all get it. And it's not going to change anything. We're still going to be locked down. We're still going to have restricted movement. And it's like, what's the point of having this fucking vaccine if we still can't do anything? Why are you vaccinating a population? Isn't the whole point of a vaccination to help get people back to normalcy again? No, but you're going to force people or pressure them to get a vaccine and then tell them that there are variations and now we got new strands floating around, so now we need to revaccinate. They're going to keep this vicious cycle going. They're going to keep imposing lockdowns. They're going to keep restricting movement. And they're going to push this $15 an hour mandate. Where who's going to be able to afford that? Big corporations. Who's not going to be able to afford that? Small businesses. So they've already been crippled. They've already been crippled by the pandemic and all these draconian lockdowns. And then you're going to sweep right behind them and say, not only, guess what? But wait, there's more. Not only are you crippled by the pandemic and our restrictions and mandates, now we are requiring you, we're federally mandating that you pay your employees $15 an hour. They can barely keep their damn doors open. How are they going to do that? They're not. They're going to go belly up. They're going to go bankrupt. They're going to close their doors. They're going to shut down. This is an intentional movement to kill small businesses. It is. It's all an effort to push forward the Great Reset initiative. So you'll have businesses that are about to go belly up. They can't afford to pay their bills. They can't afford to keep things going. And then they'll say, hey, listen, man, I understand, the government and all their, and all their caring fashion, they're going to swoop in like a white knight. Say, listen, guy, I understand. The last year and a half, 2 years have been really hard for your business. And I understand you're about to lose everything. But guess what? We're here to save you. We're here to make sure that you keep living that American dream. So this is what we're going to do for you. So what we're going to do for you. We're going to bring you back to the black again. We're going to pay off all your business debt. We're going to pay off all your personal loans. We're going to pay off all your student loans. We're going to give you a good living allowance, a stipend, a living expense. And you can keep operating this business. You'll manage it. It will pay you to manage it. Excuse me. But there's one catch. One catch. You don't own anything. This business becomes our business. You could operate out of it. You can manage it, operate out of it. It's yours, but it's not yours. You don't own it. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do this with businesses. They're gonna do this with housing, and ultimately, it will be an overarching power grab. Because guess what? If you don't own nothing, or if you don't own anything, you can't contest anything. Because guess what? You start arguing that you don't think what your government is doing is right, all they got to do is shut you down. Take away your home, take away your business, take away your possessions, take away your money. So it's a move. What the hell is that noise? It's a move to enforce compliance among the American population. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but we're seeing the signs of it already. I don't know. Hopefully we can reverse it. Hopefully something happens where, we reverse course. But like I said, I'm always glad that our forefathers had enough foresight to give a lot of their power to the states. And we have red state governors out there who say, we're not doing any of that crap. And that's good. That's good. Like I said, I got to get to a red state and retire in a red state and just stay my ass in there, because it'll be like the last, in my eyes, those are like Texas, Florida, Texas and Florida mainly. To me, those would be like the last couple of standing states who will like literally resist all this insanity to the very end. And hopefully, like, it'll turn around before then. But the rest, most of America, they can know that it's not right, but they're going to just follow along. They're going to follow along until they have nothing. And you know who this whole plan is going to appeal the most to? It's going to appeal the most to our younger population, our college graduates. The ones who went to college for, gender studies and all that other crazy stuff, and they graduate from college tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and can't find a decent paying job because there was no decent paying job for the career path that they chose. And now they're still living with mom and dad up to their eyeballs in debt, working a job that doesn't pay them nearly as much as they should be earning. Or even worse, they can't even find a job at all. So they have nothing. So that this government proposal, this great reset, will seem like a good deal to them. Because it's a whole lot more than what they have now. And my thought was that this was the plan all along. To get the younger generation to go into this trap. A trap. Where they'll be so desperate to get out of the position that they're in that they will accept something like the Great Reset with open arms because they already don't have anything. So they'll be like, okay, that's a good deal. I'm living with mom and dad right now. Or I'm living with like 5 other people right now. Splitting rent. I don't even own that. I just stay there. So they're going to give me a place to live, a monthly living allowance, a unionized job. I'm just going to, I could just kind of exist and be happy with what I have. All I got to do is just, I don't have to own it. I don't own anything now. Sounds like a good deal to me. But I'm going down a rabbit hole again because that's definitely where I always go. But overall, it is the individual desire to be accepted that has landed us where we are today. It starts in elementary school and it follows us all the way through to adulthood. Nobody wants to be excluded. Nobody wants to be ostracized. Nobody wants to feel like an outcast. So we just go along to get along. And, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. A lot of people think it's funny when I say that, but that's true. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. The people who make the most noise and the most outspoken are usually the ones that get what they want. And who did that? Who did that? The left did. The left did. I always said, you know, you don't have to like how they play. But if how they play is getting them what they want, sometimes you're going to have to reassess what you're doing if you're consistently losing all your fights. It's like when we went into the Vietnam War and we were getting freaking slaughtered out there because we were playing a different type of warfare than they were playing in Vietnam. We went out there with our way of fighting, and they went out there with their way of fighting, and we were getting slaughtered because we did not want to adapt to the environment that we were fighting in. Either we didn't want to or we didn't know how. Because we had our way of doing stuff. And our way of doing stuff was getting us fucking killed. So, same thing here. When you're in a battle, the smartest thing you can do is assess your opponent, see how they're playing the game. And if they're beating you at the game, then you got to go back and you got to reassess and you have to adjust. You got to fight fire with fire. That's just what you have to do. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to take the moral high ground because we're not like that, blah, 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 blah. Well, fine. You keep losing. You just keep losing then. If you like just being a loser and you go into the loser's cage with your morals and standards, then fine. You go ahead and do that. But don't ever for one day sit there and think that your freaking morals and your code of ethics and your right way of doing stuff is ever going to get you above somebody who's willing to lie, cheat, and steal and do anything that they can to win. And you're not willing to fight back. It's not going to happen. It's like going into a handicap match where you have rules and limitations and your opponent doesn't. Okay, we're going to go. You two are going to fight. You get to wear boxing gloves. And you can box. And your opponent has baseball bats and weapons. Fight. It's like, okay, it's an uneven match here. You got to even the playing field. I'm not telling anybody what they should do. I'm just telling you that until we can get to a point where we can be smarter about how we do stuff, we're going to keep taking L's. And when I say we, I mean the American people are going to keep taking L's. And as much as I'm optimistic, I like to watch like a lot of these conservative, like alternative news channels and stuff like that. But these guys are also talking in circles now. They're talking in circles. And it's almost sad to see, because I feel like they keep on holding on to like something that's like gone. And they don't want to accept the fact that things are the way they are, and we need to reassess and recalibrate and find a different approach. You know, that's why I kind of stopped talking about it. I stopped talking about it. I was like, you know what? After this dude takes office, I'm not going to come up. I'm not going to be like post these videos every single day on what I think President Trump's doing and stuff like that. It's done. It's done. All I could do is sit here and brainstorm and think about what the next course of action is going to be, and how I'm going to navigate the terrain that I'm currently in, instead of crying over spilled milk and what could have been. That ship is sailed. That ship is gone. It's over. There's no point in looking back. You look back and to remember, the mistakes that are made, so you don't repeat the same mistakes. But you don't sit there and hang out in the past. You have to look ahead. That's what you have to do. So I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, well, he still got a plan, da-da-da-da-da. Like, no. He said what he's going to do. He did exactly what I said he was going to do. Peaceful transition of power. He's going to peace out. That's exactly what he did. Like I said, it would be nice if he did something crazy like, use all those troops there to do some kind of freaking mass arrest, but it is what it is. And the government, at some point, the government and big tech are going to butt heads, because big tech is going to want to run the world, and then the government is going to want to run big tech. It's kind of like the government using Antifa for their own personal political gain during the presidential, campaigning process throughout the whole year. It's almost like I said, it's the monster you can't control. But look what Antifa is doing now. Antifa is like burning things down in Portland again, and in Seattle, and now they're attacking like Democrat offices and stuff. Antifa has no loyalty to anybody. So now they got a monster that they're still running. Now they're running around burning stuff down again. But that's what's going to happen. The government's going to want to control big tech. Big tech wants to control everything. And big tech is going to put themselves in a position where the government can't do anything with them. Because the government is going to do what the government always does. Make a whole bunch of empty threats and not take any action at all. And they'll get bigger and get like I said in my initial video, they'll get bigger and bigger and bigger, more powerful, until the government says, okay, that's enough. You have to do X, Y, and Z. And big tech is going to be like, or what? What are you going to do? You have given us so much power that we are in control of your communication systems. We are in control of your information systems. We might not have the military, but we have all the information and all the digital data that we need to shut you all the way the fuck down. We can make you incapable. We could cripple your capacity to do anything. So what are you going to do? Anyways, I'm done. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. Shadowban, just making a quick video of my ideas and what's going through my head right now. As always, be smart, stay safe, use your brain, always use your brain and think. Until next time, peace.